Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. It's season 13. We are starting out tonight strong.
As they do go side by side. It is the formation lap almost done. They will look, all eyes to the lights. That's going to be an amazing start.
And we have a crash in turn 1 already. What's going on?
On to the bus stop straight. Goes for it around the outside.
More contact behind. That is huge. A couple of gainers in that one.
She's given it everything. She has to. I'm not sure that it's over yet, though.
This is the last opportunity. We're off and away for SRA.
Good evening, SRA Nation. Welcome to Season 14, SRA Team Series, the Division 2, Round 5. We are in Hungaroring. This is going to be the wet track for this season. And yeah, I am super excited for the race. Joining me in the booth once again is Ilpa Ratsalainen. Ilpa, how are you doing today?
Hey, it is a fine day here in California. Unlike our very wet Hungaroring.
Yeah, I mean, the race was yesterday, and we did D1, and then it rained today. It triggered me PTSD. I actually got scared that someone's gonna rear-end me while I was driving to work. So, yeah, rain does a lot of stuff to you. So, but then again, that was yesterday. Today is a completely different race. We're D2. Going on to Hungaroring. I mean, what can I say? This track is more fun in the wets for me than the dries. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the second sector. It's just like it flows a bit more differently, and it like makes the track a lot more interesting because this track is slow, and I think just because it's wet, it kind of like helps eases in, like making the track better. I don't know. What do you think about Hungaroring, Ilpo? I think you're a fan of it.
Yes, so I think for purely for driving experience, it is one of the best tracks that are in ACC. And fun fact, most of the current F1 drivers, this is a couple of years old, so might not be true anymore with some of the driver changes, but a lot of the F1 top tier drivers actually really like the track. It is extremely technical and difficult. Getting a good lap time is very challenging. But as for racing, we all know that it's a little bit narrow and a little bit difficult to get any overtakes on.
Yeah, that's it. Overtaking is possible on this track, especially down to turn 1. You have a long straight followed by a hairpin. You have two outcomes from this. You either get dive bomb and get sent to oblivion, or you actually make a stick, and it's a great overtake. That said, so go ahead.
I do think wet actually makes it easier to overtake, because small mistakes like hitting a curb in an acceleration zone can produce quite significant speed differences on the few straights that we have. So I think wet makes it actually more interesting in that sense.
Gotcha. Moving on to the bunch we have right now. D2. Art is leading the championship, 20 points. This is not a huge gap. We've seen Art and Damiani actually dominate for most of the season. What's surprising is Logan, from his dominance at Spa, coming out of nowhere in P3, fighting for a championship. Followed by Doug, who's actually doing the carrying for once instead of getting carried in P4. Lexus are super strong, and they have been strong yesterday as well. Followed by Thomas Waldhausen and Mueller, our current team championship leaders. Followed by Brooker Quick, who I don't think is making an appearance in this race. So no fantasy losses for me. And then we have Josh Worley putting the Bentley in P8. Great performance from him so far. And so is John Archie in P9. And followed by Matthew Schwartz, Doug's teammate in P10. These guys are holding on. Followed by Patrick Rust, tied for points in P11. Followed by Simon Gorio and Roy Key. They've had pretty eventful season so far. Hopefully they can get the tide turned around literally this race. And Ian Wheeler, Harold McDonald, Doma Comber, Timothy Jelliball, these guys are and Andre Velasquez as well. These guys have been putting on great performance, followed by David Trunk and Selena Boonstar and Nick Sand. This is a 4-way tie for points here. Have you seen that before?
I think that might have happened somewhere before, but yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting to see how things settle towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and we have Nico Suave, Jack Sullivan, Neil Sutherland, Luis Vasquez, and Jacob Hall. Anton Ruchwitz said everyone started with 0 points. Yes, but not 5 races into a season. On page 2, we have Anthony Kelly, Ryan Cody, Waldo Vargas, Jez Osborne, Jack Krause, Michael Schwarzenegger. Other 4-8, we have Matt Schmitzer, Cody Platt, Son Leach, Paulie Hartman, and Carlos Guzman, and Ryan Garrity, and Ian Byron. Followed up with the Porsche teammates of Andy Speed and Max Diggs, Aaron Anderson, Elliot Levine, Pablo Ferrer, Caleb Craig, Matt Higgs, who I think is in this race. He's only started racing since last week, so yeah. And then Henry Ramirez and Mark Sutherland and Connor Adams running up the top, the 3 points. Team standings right now: Ferrari 9.3 wires of Philip Ennis Mueller and Thomas Olhausen. They're leading. We're gonna see another shoey from them probably. But followed super close by is Royke and Art. You're saying something?
Yeah, I mean that's close. I wouldn't call the championship yet for the teams.
Yeah, and then followed in P3 is the Lexus team of Matt Schwartz and Doug Mitchell. These guys have been strong, and this Lexus seems to be pretty nice on this track, so you might see some good performance out there. That said, Art is barnstorming in the practice races, so he's probably going to dominate. P4 is Josh Amiani and Ian Mueller. They still have a bit of catch-up, but 34 points in the team championship isn't a lot. And P5 have Blind Hand Racing and put Patrick Rustenbrooker quit. Brooker's out for a season, as he said, so it's going to be Patrick carrying on the lead, carrying the waiver from now. And then we have the Bentley in P6. That's pretty good for the Bentley team of Nico Suave and Josh Worley, followed by the other Lexus team of Caleb Craig and Logain. And then P8 we have a Ferrari 488 team of Schwarzenegger and Goriol. Good performance from them, a bit unlucky for most of the season. And P9, you have the Super Mario Brother BMW, so Jacob Hall and Noah McComber. And rounding up top 10 is the Range Force Esports team McLaren with Timothy Judable and Anthony Kelly. And I guess now qualifying is happening. So let's actually go on to qualifying right now. There you go. Oh. There you go, got the right window. We have Matt Schwartz out here. He's not the one in the lead. The first one to get the time in is Noah Comber, 52.7. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Wet has a variable pace difference. You could be seeing 50s, you could be seeing 52s, depending on how wet it is. In the D1 race yesterday, the track actually got wetter as the session went on. So we were seeing silver drivers out-qualified the gold drivers. And I don't think we're gonna see that happen here because the rain intensity is decreasing, but the pace difference from the rain is gonna matter a lot, and especially with decreasing rain, the latter laps are gonna be faster than the earlier laps. What do you think about it?
Also, it takes a few laps for the track to dry out from the cars driving on it, and also it depends on how many cars there are in silver versus gold, how much those cars are gonna dry the track out. I think there's slightly more gold drivers here, and they, of course, they have the advantage of starting after the silvers have already dried out the track a little bit. But it is extremely difficult to predict what's going to happen in wet conditions.
Yeah, I think we have one more silver driver than one more gold driver than silver driver. It's pretty even split. 14 silvers, 15 golds.
Yeah, so the biggest advantage is going to be that the track has already been dried by the previous half of the session when they start, and also that the drain is going to be decreasing slightly over the next 10 or even 30 minutes, which we won't see because the quali ends before then, but it's still like the trend is clearly that the rain is decreasing over the whole time.
And chat, Calvin says he cannot hear Ropa. What about now, unless you're actually trolling?
I mean, must be trolling. right?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. You just do some stuff like that. But yeah, coming back to the qualifying session right now, McComber and Hall, they are comfortably holding 0.4 seconds to Schwartz and P3. What's surprising is that the BMW actually has a faster sector 1. Oh, never mind. Schwartz has a faster sector 1. Spoke too soon. But yeah, looks like the BMWs are actually flying right now. Nearly half a second to the first non-BMW car.
No, I can tell you from yesterday's experience that the BMW is very good exiting the final corner in these conditions. Quite annoyingly good. So
I can vouch for that.
yes. So I mean that helps. Although I think the Lexus isn't like too bad here, but really it's wet and a really tricky track. So driver is gonna matter much more than the car in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean definitely, because especially in the final corner, once you put your rear tires on that curb, it's gonna be GG for you. You're not gonna have the grip. As you can see, Jess Osborne just sliding over the Porsche here. Yeah, the track is slippery. In my ultimate Bill Buxton wisdom here, if the track is wet, it is gonna be slippery. And your exits are you're gonna struggle with the exits. Yeah, Jess, you're rounding down. It's not gonna be pole for him, but it's gonna be quite an upgrade from where he is right now. See if he can keep the car on track. Yes, he does. Half a second up on his personal best. That's gonna put him up to P5. What about Nico Suave here? He's also improving massively. 7/10 on his personal best. That's gonna surely put him on to P4. There we go.
Sutherland is improving enough to take pole if he makes the lap work all the way to the end.
If you have missed Sutherland in the past couple of races, glad to see them back. As you can see him throw the Ferrari around this track. Ferrari's pretty decent around this track and wet. It's not bad. It's not the best, but it's serviceable.
Yeah, I think it's just generally a car that is never exactly the best, but also rarely the worst. So
that's how I describe the BMW too. It's just awfully mid.
Yes, I suppose that's relatively correct. They are both kind of the opposite sides of being mid. One is mid-engined, and,
yeah.
And one is front-engine, but also still mid.
Oh, look at that slide. He's still flying though. He's just above the threshold of getting pole right now. That's it. McComber is improving.
He's also improving quite significantly.
Actually, most drivers are improving. It looks like Hall isn't, but he might get an extra lap in. And looks at Jess Osborne 4 seconds down. He might have made a mistake and just taking this lap to cool his tires down. But yeah, looks like Neil Sutherland might put the car on provisional pole. We must declare as yep, that is pole for him, a 51.8. But that's not going to distract from the fact that Noah McComber is half a second up on his personal best, and with an amazing. Actually, it's not. Actually, never mind. Sector 2 is 2/10 faster than everyone else. So there we go. That's your provisional pole sitter right now.
Yeah, I believe the track might be. I mean, it's almost certainly drying out, so we could see massive swings still in the last lap. Everybody gets. But it does put a lot of pressure on the drivers because you cannot afford a mistake on the final lap.
Yeah, McComber is also improving as it is right now. Let's see how he takes this corner. It's a lift from him. I wonder if the track's still not dry enough to go flat out, because I was.
It also depends on how you take the corner, how brave you are cutting the inside curb, because if you can cut the curb, it helps quite a lot.
He ran a bit wide there, losing his whole 10. It looks like a lot of drivers are calling it. Sutherland's back into their pits, Hall's back into the pits, they're done. It looks like McComber is gonna be relatively unchallenged for the silver pole, but I wonder if he's gonna try pushing it. No, he's just hemorrhaging time here. I think that might be it for him. And also, yeah, I am in D1, but D2 drivers are as fast as D1 silver drivers. I was gapped by Art for the whole season. If you're in the same car. And also, Kelvin, I am gonna call Cap. I'm not gonna, unless I get confirmation, I am not gonna change the name. Actually, no, is it Macomber or Macomber? Nobody you know anything about the surname?
I do not actually, but let me see if I can find out.
Alright, on to another BMW, Walter Vargas. He's 8/10 up on his personal best. That's not enough to put him on pole, but it might be enough to improve at least one position. Or maybe not. That's just, he's gonna slot him in P9. But the track is getting drier. These cars are going faster towards the end. They might have run out of tires, but there is more pace to be found. So let's see if the gold drivers have anything to say about that. With Mueller, I believe is Mueller leading the pack, or is it Olhausen? Yeah, Olhausen is leading the pack for the gold drivers right now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how much faster the gold drivers are compared to the silver drivers. As Olhausen starts to lap, followed closely by Doug. It's gonna be interesting to see. I wonder what the speed traps are in the quality so far. It's gonna be a good idea in the race. Sutherland's speed trap is only 239 kilometers per hour, as opposed to the fastest driver, Schwartz, who said at 245. This is Lexus to Ferrari you're comparing, which kind of checks out.
Interestingly, Nico Suabe also only did 241 in the Bentley, which is on a short straight like this, it's generally pretty strong because it accelerates extremely well.
Yeah, the GTR also accelerates pretty well, and Ryan Cody's done a 243. Yeah, it looks like Doug is right up to pace as well. He's fastest speed trap in the opening lap is a 244. And yeah, Ian Byron's also done a 241, and so has Josh Worley. So yeah, the Bentley seems to be just hitting 241 here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what lap times we're gonna be seeing. Yeah, it looks like Paulie Hartman and Hal McDonald might not be able to have quality bans, and so does John Archie, considering 3 of them are in the pits. I don't know, Spalbot was not the cleanest of the races. D2 was certainly clean for most of the race, but I mean, towards the end of the season, quality bans do start stacking up. Penalty points do keep stacking up. As
Hartman is out in this part of the quali. I do not know why.
Huh, interesting. I wonder if he's missed out on the gold quality. But oh, there we go. What do I say about Art?
Yeah. Straight to the pole, provisional pole with half a second.
Yeah, he on his first flying lap, he takes pole by half a second. Was the cleanest D8 was the cleanest this season so far, unfortunately. And you know what's worse is that he's gonna go even faster because the track is getting progressively less wet and there are more cars displacing the water now. Josh Amiani is 7/10 behind. And it doesn't look like he's improving. He's stuck behind traffic right now. As I believe that's Paulie Hartman. He moves out of the way. Arc is improving slightly. He's 1.4 tenths on his lap. Actually, no. Actually, more than that. He's 1/4 of a second up on his personal best. All hasn't too. All is also improving.
I mean, almost everyone is currently improving, but nobody's improving anywhere near enough to get anywhere near Arced.
Yeah, that is true. It is quite a domination. The all housing. He's gonna. Oh.
Doug is currently 6.5, now over 7/10 up on the lap, but his previous lap was 1.3 seconds slower than Arced, so that's not gonna be anywhere near enough.
But it is enough to get himself onto the second row of the grid. Macomber still is on silver pole and on the front row. Let's see what Arced does. Arced is into the 50s. And 7/10 faster than Macomber. Oh, Logan's falling close behind as well. This driver put an amazing performance at Spa. He's carrying the momentum forward for this race. As who else is also improving? Yeah, but I don't know if these drivers have hit a brick wall, if they've like set unicorn laps in it right now, and now they're just struggling to find extract whatever pace they could.
Well, I mean, purely from what the cars are capable of doing, if we ignore Arc for a moment, because I can't speak for that, but I would say most of the others definitely have time in their laps. The question is, can they figure out where that time is and how to implement that lap in the time remaining?
Yeah, it's super fun to see. It is super fun to see the cars dance around like that. Is it faster? Probably not. Stuff like that. You saw Doug kick his tail at. That is stuff that slows down the car.
Yes. I mean, you definitely do not want to get the car massively sideways in these conditions. You're gonna trigger the traction control, or even if you have that turned down, then you're just gonna be wheel spinning. So while it looks fun, and it is kind of fun,
Oh, that's so wide.
it's not fast.
That is so wide from Doug. He loses 2/10 in the final quarter just by running wide. It looks like Arc is resetting his lap time. That's. Wonder if he's gonna go for 2 more, or at least 1 more push lap. That's it. Going a bit further back, Josh Worley, 7/10 up on his personal best. That is not good enough for pole, but it is good enough to more than make up half the places that where he is right now.
Yeah, that would go somewhere around P8, I believe.
Whirly. Yep, it is whirly indeed. Well, lost a bit of time there. Still an improvement. That's gonna put him up into P8. It is literally half a position improvement.
Olhausen is improving enough to go to P3, I believe, if he keeps the lap going.
Yep. See what he's doing. Let's actually up on board with him. Goes over that curve. It's pretty slippery there. Stays away from the curb on the outside, clips the curb on the inside. Pretty gentle on the throttle here. The car slowed down, mounts this curb. You don't want to go on this curb on the outside. He goes in anyways and improves. All right, here's this quarter. It's a patience game. Your car's not gonna have the grip. It's not gonna have the downforce. No mechanical grip because it's wet. Unshift the car. He's sideways slightly. Gets the car pointed in the right direction, the way he needs on the power, and that is gonna put him up into P3. What about Doug? Doug is not improving. Well, someone is improving. Is Chris Logan? Oh, is it Chris Logan? You haven't figured out his first name. Oh, he loses all of it in the final quarter. That would have been enough for pole.
That's unfortunate.
On to Josh Abiati. He's improving, but he is stuck behind traffic. That is David Funk, I believe. Is Funk going to get out of the way, or is he going to box Jamie on the end?
Might still be enough because it's only the last corner.
He is losing time there. But he has a bit of straight line speed. It's not going to help, but it's going to put him into P5. He's the first of he finished. Okay, that's gonna be P5 at most for him. What about Alhazen? He's improving. It might be enough for P2 because it doesn't look like Logain is improving though.
No, there went all the improvement Olhausen had.
Yeah, but that said, Logain, he only messed up the final corner. So as long as he keeps the car pinned for most of this lap and he nails the final corner, it might be enough to challenge for pole position. But that all depends on whether Arctic improves or not.
Yes, he's currently up. He's actually pushing to get below 51s.
Yeah. So it's gonna be quite a two-horse race. As Arctis run wide, he's not improving. He's actually equal on his delta, but he does have 3 more corners to do.
But Logain also lost his improvement. He's also now just only even with his previous lap.
Yeah, but he lost so much time in the final quarter. If the last lap is the fastest lap for him. Runs wide. Is he gonna keep it pinned? Doesn't look like it's improving. Actually, it might have been another scuff lap as he goes wide. Gets to.
Yeah, that's invalidated.
Yeah. But yeah, but great performance from him. Arc takes pole with a 50.9. Our only sub 51s this race with Logain carrying the momentum in P2. And then in P3 and 4, we have the teammates of Alhazen and Mueller. Great for their team standings right now. As so we should probably do the ad break right now. If I can get it up. Alright, we have 2 minutes. Let me try to speed run through the ads. Bear with me for a bit as we keep the cars going. Actually, you know what? Why not keep the show going anyways? It's just gonna be me with the ads. So let me hit drive, and there you go. Here's the ad break. A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting here us at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from RetroSaga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today with retrosaga.ca. Thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE, SRA capitalized, T lowercase, at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. I believe it may have also tell you your weather conditions, so might be good for one race down the line. GT3 Sim Shop, upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile Steam Deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative design enhances performance and style. Elevate every lap with top tier quality and craftsmanship with a3t3.net. Go set up premium esports setups for everyone. Use affiliate link in the Discord and take it right to the next level. And as a matter of fact, they also make vets and hybrid setups for every car, which I used for moderate success yesterday. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and fairy world collectibles, magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall deckers, customary cosplays, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And finally, from KP Concepts, your source of custom automotive rendering, graphic designs, and printing. We spend countless hours making it look good, all for a spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more and get yourself a sweet banner for your shoey. And perfect timing as everyone is heading out right now. Ilpo, any preemptive predictions from what we've seen in qualifying?
Well, I mean, I guess the only really safe prediction is that Ark is gonna run away with this, if he doesn't get killed. Now, there's a really interesting trend to note that it's still showing decreasing rain for the entire time we can see forward in the timeline, which is only half of the race. So if it's gonna keep decreasing all the way to the end of the race, I don't think it's gonna dry, but it might go down all the way to light rain, and the track might actually go to like maybe damp. That could potentially change the way everything balances, depending on what type of setups people are running and what the pit strategies are. So that's something to keep eye on.
You know what? Tires just matter here for the wets, because yesterday I started my race. In my first stint, I had 31 psi. Second stint, the track was drying out slightly, and I got into the pits. I loaded around 30 psi, where the wet tires should be. Couple laps in, it started raining more. My tire pressures went down to 29.4 psi. So, yes, the rain changes how your tires gonna be pressurized, and that's gonna matter a lot. So pit strategy and making the right calculations for how much tire pressure you want to run. Granted, these are wet tires, they have a bigger operating window when it comes to tire pressures than the dries. It's gonna affect a lot of things in this race.
Yes, especially if it really keeps raining less and less. Anyone pitting super early might be in trouble if the decreasing rain keeps on going that way, because you would then have to make a choice whether you're gonna take very low tire pressures that are nice at the end and terrible for the first part of the race, or whether you're gonna take pressures that feel good at the moment but then might be way off at the end of the race.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, and also because these are also wet tires, they don't wear as much as dry tires. They still wear a lot, but you can get away with abusing them or running them longer than the dry tires. So I wonder if we're gonna see any undercuts. The undercuts were stupidly strong yesterday.
Yes, I mean, I think Mercer started from last-ish and pitted on lap 1 and finished in P15. So
Yeah.
yes, the early pit stop strategies are much stronger, I would say, than in dry conditions, because the tire wear is less significant.
And yeah, coming back to the race, you can see Arc is already dominating race, so far ahead of Logan in the start. As right now the field is bunching up for our wet race of the season, and we are about to go green. We go green, and an amazing start from both Logan and Arc. Looks like the Ferraris are lagging back slightly, but you're heading into turn 1. Are we going to see any Valtteri Bottas moments? As you see, Josh Worley squeezes in, runs into Doug, and pushes Jacob Hall slightly wide. They're going 3 wide behind. Who is that? It says Schwartz. It's Schwartz, Kelly, and I believe that is Nico Suave. They're going 3 wide here. So clean. We have a bunch of bunching up behind. No one's dead yet, which is pretty surprising. What about here? 2 wide. Oh, we have a touching behind. Who is that? Is that Selena Boonstra? That's Selena Boonstra. She started spinning. What happened there? Actually go in the replay over here. There, she's going side by side with, I believe that is... Oh, she gets hit by Fer, and she spins. That is super unfortunate for her. This is her first race in the rain, so not deciding you want to see, as we have a spinner. I believe that is Max Diggs. Oh, do we have another incident in chicane here? What's going on here? It looks like Nico Suave hits a Mustang, and that spins Diggs. And there's more carnage behind with Cody and the McLaren. And I believe, is that the Vargas or Ferrer? I think that Vargas was the BMW in front. Or actually, it's Ferrer. It's Ferrer, Leitch, and Ian Byron. Not Nico Suave. Actually, no, Byron's also back. Yeah, a bit of carnage in this chicane.
Very good start from Olhausen. Still sitting in P3.
Yeah, it looks like Mueller has fallen back down the order, losing 2 places to both Josh Damiani and Doug Mitchell. But yeah, up in front it looks pretty uneventful. But that said, we are entering turn 1. As people drop their guards down, Ian Wheeler sends it around the outside of Neil Sutherland. Runs wide and Sutherland takes a place back. What about behind? We have people going 3 wide. Actually, no, not only 3 wide, but just single file. With Schwartz, Kelly, Son, and Hartman. What about here behind? Nikoslavi is running side by side with her. And Ferrer drives in deep. Is Ravi going to try doing a switchback? No, Ferrer shuts the door on him. That's a good overtaking from Ferrer. As yeah, I mean, these two were caught in an incident at the start, so a bit of a recovery drive from them.
Yeah, we see some cars pitting on lap 1, which I'm very unsurprised about, especially given that I think
Yeah, we have John Archie.
quite possibly all 3 of these drivers were involved in the incident in the chicane, so they might just get the pit stop done now.
Yeah, but that's what it looks like. I did see one of the GTRs down there. I don't recall seeing the other one. I think it was David Funk we saw in the getting caught in the accident.
Yeah, I think Funk is repairing because he's been stationary for a rather long time.
Yeah, as you have Ollie Hartman trying to get past is that Anthony Kelly? Why do I keep thinking it's Aaron Kelly? But yeah, Ollie Hartman trying to get past Anthony Kelly here. The Mustang, this is one of the situations where the Mustang is not the strongest. That said, the winning car from D1 is a Mustang. But yeah, this is...
The driver of that said Mustang might have something to do with it.
Yes, that is true. This is the one we're talking about. They can handle whatever you throw at them, except for Bop.
Logan is really close to Arct.
Yeah, Logan's last lap is 2 tenths faster than Art. But these two are flying though.
Yeah, it might make sense for Logan to just sit there and have the 2 of them run away from the pack first before they start fighting too hard. Because when you fight someone, you're gonna lose time, and that's gonna open opportunities for anyone else behind to catch and maybe do something about it.
Definitely deal. Ooh, boxing and going on. McDonald's slots himself behind Song Lake. These two are caught at an incident, out by an incident at the start of a race. Yeah, Arct and Logan, they opened 2 seconds up on Olhausen, who in return has opened up 2 seconds to Doug, who in return has opened up 2 seconds to Mueller, who in turn has opened up 2 seconds to Josh Damiani. As Damiani and Worley are fighting, Worley gets past Damiani. That's a lap car in front of them. It's that David Funk. It is. As Alescos nearly runs into the pair of them, Worley gets past Funk. What about... Oh, Josh Damiani, he gets on the curb and he spins!
Oh no, braking on the curb. No, no.
That's a lot of positions lost for our championship contender here.
Yeah, I think he lost 7 positions in that.
As there's a Lexus going into the pits. It says Schwartz? Yep, that's Schwartz in the pits. Funk is slowing down to let these cars pass. Is there going to be any dive bombs? Doesn't look like there's a line for it, but... Oh, Velasquez runs wide and he gets on the AstroTurf. That's going to slow his exit down and Neil Sutherland's going to get past him. What about Ian Wheeler? Is that enough for the Mustang to get past? Mustang sends around the outside. Is he going to stay there? Doesn't look like he is. They're going to try going too wide into the next corner. Who's going to be the bravest? Who's going to win this game of chicken? Both of them commit, but Velasquez runs wide and he gets on the AstroTurf. That's going to let Wheeler get past. What about McComber? Is McComber also going to get past? No, he's on the outside this time. Just staying on the outside seems to be unfortunate just because you're getting on the curb, Asters. Hall tries to center around the outside of Funk. That's going to allow Josh Damian to get alongside. That doesn't matter. The GTR stays ahead. What an absolute wild race we have had just by one lap car.
Yeah, it's really difficult here to figure out how do you let people buy unless you completely park your car off the track or something, because like there's not that many straights, and because it's wet, the track is even narrower than normal because you can't really use the curbs. So it is extremely tricky for everyone involved.
I also don't know at what point these drivers are like, okay, I'm battling now. I'm gonna forget that I'm gonna drive on the wet track and pretend I'm gonna driving on a dry track. Wonder if any drivers are going through that right now. We did see Josh Damiani brake on the curves. I don't know if that's a situation. Oh, he hip checks David Funk, just shoves him out of the way. He was like, that's for last lap. Yes, Diego, rare Diego versus Vistum. One mistake and you are gonna get eaten up. As more dive bombs are coming in, looks like Nick Sand runs deep, almost gets eaten up by Anthony Kelly. It's like gonna be, oh, Paulie Hartman, he sends it in, that's gonna be a 3-1 accident. Nick Sand's out. Paulie Hartman's out, and Anthony Kelly has so much damage, but he keeps the car going.
So while all that was happening, Arc decided that it's time to go and set the fastest lap and pulled a decent gap on Logan.
His fastest lap right now is as fast as his quality lap. It's definitely drier than Paulie.
Yes, like I said, he decided that it's time to go. We're gonna stop pretending.
Yeah. Remember when I said Paulie Hartman had a quality ban? I'm gonna actually fact check that right now to see if I am wrong. Because that incident did look like it was on him. Yeah, Paulie Hartman doesn't have any outstanding penalties. I was wrong. That said, things might change at the end of this race. Yeah, looks like most of the, because of David Funk's shenanigans, looks like most of the battle has spread out just because everyone was trying their best to get past and just losing more time to the guy in front. So right now, this is the battle we have at hand. As we have more cars going into the pits. That is Ian Byron. There we go. Battle for P9 here between Macomber and Velasquez. Velasquez seems to be all over the place. Goes Macomber. Also another battle between the Porsche drivers of Boonstra and Diggs. Both of them have damage from different turn 1 incidents. Yeah, well, it's been 10 minutes of this race and there's already so much stuff happening.
But interestingly, the field has spread out quite a lot.
Yeah.
You would think that after some of those complications, there would be faster drivers behind slower drivers, but it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. The only real battle going on is between Hall, Macomber, and Velasquez.
And Boonstra and Diggs as well. These two are battling. Oh, it looks like Diggs has gotten past Boonstra. Can you take a replay of that? Oh, it seems like Sonidas just had a bad run, and that's just gonna allow Diggs to get up the inside, going into the chicane, and he keeps the car pinned. That's a really good move from him. Right, right now it looks like our battle is between the three BMWs, Velasquez, Macomber, and Hall. Two of them are teammates, one of them shares the same car as them.
Also to note, we have a silver driver in P7 currently. That's quite an impressive thing.
Yeah, it's Neil Sutherland. He is still hanging on there. And he's doing a good job. We're not seeing much of him over the course of the season, but it seems like he finally got his foot down. As Macomber is closing in on Velasquez again. Yeah, it looks like Arc is just considerably faster than Logan. But their gap is not getting further as the BMW gets so close up to the other BMW. Chungus on Chungus. No carnage so far.
I think Worley made a mistake because Sutherland and Wheeler have caught up to him all of a sudden.
So it looks like Josh Worley had a slower last lap, but yeah, it might be a slow this lap. There's another Paulie Artman trying to hunt down Pablo Ferrer here. Pablo Ferrer. There we go. Artman does have a damaged BMW though. Mustang, same aero platform. He did hit the car. He did hit the other Mustang hard.
I would say kind of luckily this track isn't very aero dependent, so you're not gonna lose quite that much as long as your suspension is not damaged. I think we have cars coming out from the pits into this train, which is gonna be interesting.
Oh, Velasquez is on the outside. You see, and they're going too wide into turn 3. Macomber goes. It gets ahead of the other BMW. Is his teammate gonna follow through? Doesn't look like it, but they are stuck behind the lap car. I wonder how this is gonna change how the race turns out. As Ian Wheeler gets past Neil Sutherland, we missed that on that incident. I think he might have missed it, but yeah. This battle's going on here.
Yeah, so I think the orange BMW is a lapped car because of a pit stop.
Yes, it is. Is that I believe that is Wilder Vargas, actually. As Jacob Hall is going too wide with Velasquez, gets a really slippery run through that corner, and then Josh Damiani is gonna try to take the place back. He has a recovery drive to do, but he's on the outside. Is he gonna run onto that puddle? Doesn't look like it, and he takes the place from Hall, just capitalizing on the smallest of mistakes. And Vargas finally gets out of the way for everyone after punching out the back. Thank you for doing that. You're making the race entertaining for us to watch. I see someone in the pits. Josh Worley is in the pits. I wonder if he's gonna try to undercut. So is Velasquez. Velasquez is also in the pits. Now I wonder if this is gonna trigger a pit cycle where everyone's trying to pit in early to get fresh rubber, despite not pitting to undercut, not pitting because of traffic, but just to get the undercut from tires. Because that's what
I don't think it's the tires quite so much, but if you're stuck behind someone who is clearly slower but unable to overtake, which is quite likely the scenario here, you would rather undercut just to get clear air so you can run faster. I mean, that was my reasoning when I went for my lap 2 or 3, I don't remember, pit stop. The whole point was that I was clearly faster than the cars in front, but overtaking was so difficult, so I figured that I'll just pit, and I know I'm not gonna be blue flagged, like there's enough of a gap, and then I'll just run like hell.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I feel like driving in the rain compared to driving in the dry is a lot more difficult because you have a lot of spray. As you can hop on your drivers here. That's not the worst of the sprays you've seen. But when you're running behind a huge bunch of cars, it can get a bit difficult to see. But that is...
It's definitely more stressful to be right behind someone. Not just because of the spray, but also because you constantly have to be second guessing, like, where is he gonna brake this lap? Because the track is evolving every lap, so the braking points are also changing all the time.
That's true. And right now we are seeing the track get drier and drier, but it doesn't look like the drivers are improving. It might be because they're starting to ran out of rubber. Another thing that needs to be taken into consideration is that if the track is not wet enough, your tires will start overheating. They will start going yellow. Didn't happen to me in a practice race. Did not happen yesterday, but there's a good chance of that happening this race here.
Yeah, if the rain keeps decreasing the whole time, the tires are gonna be crying at the end.
Well, we got more packs up here. His max digs on the bumper of Nixon. That BMW looks... not BMW. Nope. I just confused them again. Same aero kit. The Mustang looks extremely scratched up as Max 6 strikes, avoiding action. Runs deep. Doesn't hit him though. That's going to be a missed opportunity for him. What about Schmitzer? Schmitzer tries to look up the inside of Leach. Doesn't send it around the inside.
Looking at the front, Arc hasn't really gone and pulled away anymore since doing a couple of really fast laps. The gap between Arc and Logan is 2.7, 2.8 seconds. Although just as I say that, Logan loses a bunch of time, but...
Yeah, it looks like Arc is matching the pace of the driver. They're all doing mid 51s. Wonder if he's backing off or if he's used most of his tires in the first couple of laps. Oh, never mind. He did a 51 dead.
I mean, he does definitely have a gap big enough that he doesn't need to risk anything. He can just, like, drive relatively safe.
Oh, Folly Hartman trying to go up the inside outside of Ferrer. He gets on the AstroTurf. No grip there. And Harold McDonald slips through. But I don't think Hartman is done yet. He's in a Mustang. He knows he has a straight line speed. But is the aero damage going to slow him down? But actually, McDonald also has aero damage. Bitch off the bat, the car is just going to win in a straight line. Looks like the Mustang, but... yeah, it looks like Harold McDonald outbreaks Hartman. That's still going on though, as McDonald finding every gap possible to get past the BMW. Yeah, too wide into any turn on this track when it's raining is insane. The moment you touch the AstroTurf or the curb on the exit, you are not going to have any grip, as you've seen earlier in this race. Oh, Hartman tries to send it around the outside of McDonald. Yeah, they're just gonna slot behind each other for now. Coming to the pit stops. How much off the field have pitted, Oppo?
So currently 9 drivers have pitted.
9 drivers, and I think the earliest of them is, yeah, it looks like it's this Josh Worley, yeah. And he's only ahead of John Archie slightly. But,
and two of those 9 drivers spent significant amount of time repairing damage. The other ones, I would say, probably just did a normal tire-only pit stop. Yeah, the times are a little bit varied, so I would think that a couple of them missed their pit box very slightly.
Yeah, the 2 drivers in question is David Funk and Wilder Vargas. Both of them have caused a bit of shenanigans earlier in the race when it comes to getting lapped. They stopped. Well, David Funk stopped for 51 seconds and Wilder Vargas stopped for 57 seconds. That is definitely to repair damage. They were caught out in lap 1 incidents.
And we have a couple of more pitting. McDonald and Macomber are in the pits now.
Yeah. And we have a new fast lap here. Another driver has decided to put the foot down. That's Josh Damiani. He is one of the drivers to be caught out by, well, not incidents, just being on the wrong place while trying to overtake someone. Well, he was caught in the lap car carnage. Yeah. Also, welcome to the Bad Moose Media. Glad to see that you are a fan of wet Hungaroring. A lot of us love it. It is a fun track in the wet. Hungaroring for me feels closely to a go-kart track compared to a racetrack. Like you just have corners after corners after corners. It just flows in.
Yeah, it's one of those old school racetracks
It's
that hasn't been changed to follow the modern style of FIA Grade 1 track with very long straights and such.
Yeah, it is one of the old school tracks. And I also heard it has one of the cheapest ever F1 tickets in the double-digit prices.
Logan and Miller in the pits.
Yep. Oh, Hartman's also okay. He's going into the pits. I think he's gonna try getting undercut, but is he gonna fix the damage that he has on his car? Because that does look like a lot of damage.
I would presume he's not gonna fix it.
Oh, I used to run streams for I used to race a DRL. Me and Ilpa, we done a couple of enduro sets for those guys and with those guys, and it's a fun community. Welcome to SRA.
I remember the
Suzuka one.
The Suzuka where it rained and then it didn't rain and then it rained and oh my god. That
Yeah.
was insane.
Yeah,
But also fun.
Yeah, it was extremely fun. If anyone wants a context for that race, it's like the SRA Spa 12 hours race where it's kept raining and drying every stint. It was
Yes, although Suzuka adds a couple of interesting spicy things to that. There's a puddle going into turn 1 braking, which is still there when the track is fully dry and slick condition. That's about all I need to say. So after the pit stops, Muller, Archie, and Schwartz are really close to each other, and actually they are right behind Worley as well.
Yeah, seems like Worley has... Was Worley ahead of Mueller? Yeah, it looks like these guys have gotten pretty good runs, but I feel like the undercut is not as strong as I expected because Schwartz did go into the pits behind Mueller. He comes out behind Mueller. And Schwartz is one of the earlier pitters in this race. Also, this track also has a puddle like Suzuka. Let me see if I can get onto that actually. Perfect timing, actually.
So, interestingly, I think the reason why Schwartz's undercut didn't work so well is that he pitted after Archie, and
Yeah.
I'm guessing he was stuck behind Archie after the pit stop.
Yeah, and this is the puddle that I was talking about. This puddle, if you're trying to overtake someone around the outside, not even the exit, but this puddle can catch you off guard. And it has done that yesterday in my D2 race. And yeah, Archie, coming back to what you're talking about, Archie is getting past... Never mind, Macomber is trying to get past Archie here. Was Archie... where did Archie qualify?
Arc has done his pit stop and is out again.
Oh, let's see. Arc has come out behind Selina Boonstra. Is that considered traffic? He's only 1 second behind the Porsche driver.
Well, technically, it's not blue flagged, so...
Yeah. Also, Archie started the race in P27. He had a quali bad, and he's already in P16 and fighting Macomber, who I believe was fighting in the top 10s. That is very undercut work. Yeah, you're right about that.
But that's not the most positions. Although it's hard to say right now because the pit stops are incomplete, but...
That's true. Right now, I guess Sean Leish technically made the most places. He started P28,
yeah,
he's in 20 places, but he's yet to pit.
Yeah, he has to still pit, so we don't really know where he's gonna be.
Oh, here's a wrench down the pipe. Arc is trying to get past Selena. Actually, it looks like Selena just lets the BMW pass. No point challenging here. One is on fresh tires and absolutely faster, and the other is on worn tires and looking to pit soon. But is that gonna be enough for... Actually, never mind. Look, it's right behind Selena as well. So as she peels into the pits, Lexus driver goes super wide here. One thing to keep an eye out is what times Alhazen, Doug, and Wheeler are doing compared to those who've already pit. But it looks at things, those who haven't pitted are slower.
Damiani has closed the gap to Sutherland almost completely. Neither of them has pitted yet, so they are actually fighting for real position here.
Yeah, but Schwartz and McComber, they're doing the low 51s. Alhazen, Doug, and Wheeler, they're in the mid 51s. Actually, Wheeler's in the low 51s, but the pace is close, but it's not. There is a bit of difference. And I wonder how much that's going to affect stuff as Nico Savi comes out pits right behind Hall. Hall, I believe, had to nurse a bit of damage. Another thing that actually I've noticed in this race, cold tires, when you exit the pits, they will slow you down.
Oh, definitely. The first lap out from the pits on new wets when they are not up to pressure is awful.
Ooh, Josh Damiani sitting around the inside of Neil Sutherland. He gets on the curb. He gets the inside though, but the Ferrari gets a better run than Sutherland stays ahead of Josh Damiani for now. Is he gonna do a dive bomb down? He thinks about it, but there wasn't enough of an overlap to send it. Wait, it looks like, yeah, Sutherland is significantly slower than Josh Damiani. He does have the fastest last lap, which right now goes to Art, who takes back the fastest lap at 50.78. All eyes in this battle here. Is Damiani gonna try sending it past Sutherland, or is he gonna pit and just put a new set of rubber on? Because we are approaching the half point of the race.
I think what he should do is to do the opposite of what Sutherland does. So if Sutherland pits, Damiani should stay out for like, I don't know, 2-3 laps and try to overcut. Because like I said, the first lap or lap and a half on new wets is kind of slow. And he's clearly the faster driver between these two. So if he does the opposite, that gives... Oh, well, that solves the problem.
Yep.
But yeah, that's quite a common strategy, is to do the exact opposite of the driver in front. So that whatever they do, you gain some time on a clear track with no one in front.
Another thing for Josh Damiani is that he needs to clear air. He is significantly faster, and he just needs to put in lap times just so he can overcut the guys who have already pitted, which I think he's on track of doing that, because his last lap was slow because he was slowed down by Sutherland, but his pace is good. I think he can overcut a lot of drivers this race. Yeah,
it is a little bit risky because it's very hard to say at which point the fresh tires become such a significant advantage that you start losing compared to your opponents.
Alright, one thing that's going to be interesting is where Doug and Alhazen come out. Alhazen is rolling down the pit lane, and he comes out behind Art and Logan, but significantly ahead of Worley and Mueller. What about Doug? Doug's also exiting pits. You can see Worley in the background. The Lexus stays ahead. And Sutherland looks like he got the short end of the stick here. He's behind Schwartz and Mueller and Worley, but he is still ahead of McComber. McComber spins as he gets tagged. What's going on here? This looks like John Archie might have lost. Yeah, he runs in deep and he clips Wheeler, I believe, as who's just exiting the pits. That's gonna be an interesting one. Doesn't look like Archie hit him. He just looks like he clipped Wheeler as Wheeler is boxed in. What do you think about that incident, Nobo?
Well, I mean, the car coming out from the pits does have the right to take the corner, so I don't know. It all comes down to who had overlap and how much, I would believe.
Yeah, it looked like Wheeler was ahead going into the turn, and he's just slow because he's on the inside and he did respect the line. So I think that incident might be on McComber there.
Yeah, I would probably agree with the assessment. He just turned in like the car wasn't there on the inside.
I mean, on this battle between Nico Suave and Kelly, I believe Suave was behind Kelly when they went into the pits.
Damiani in the pits.
Damiani and Diggs are in the pits when the rest is where they are going to come out. Olhausen is ahead of both of them. He's going to stay comfortably in P3. Doug is in P4 as well.
Really good pit stop from Damiani. Perfect stop time.
Yeah, and Damiani comes out of the pits. Where is he going to be? He is going to get behind Schwartz and Miller. But most critically, he's ahead of Sutherland, but never mind. Sutherland has the fresher tires on. He is going to start challenging for position.
Yeah, Damian is gonna need like a lap to get the new wets hit up.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle here just between the tires and the Ferrari.
I mean, the Mustang has still so much straight line speed that unless he makes a big mistake, I think he should be able to hold on to this.
Right now we have two battles. We have Wheeler and Archie. Wheeler and Archie. It looks like Wheeler did not lose a lot in that pit strategy. I think he might have lost a place potentially to Archie, but looks like McComber came out the worst from that incident.
Yeah, that was quite expensive to him.
Ooh, look, the lab was so sketchy. We did see Michael Mending spin out in the Lambo last race, ignoring the stuff he's done to the setup. But yeah, Josh Worley though, up to P5. He started a race in P9 by the way, and so did Doug. He started P7, so 4 and 5. 3 and 4 place improvement is pretty good. Same with Schwartz. But the biggest improvement right now that everyone has pit, we could get back to it, is John Archie. 17 positions up to on where he started just by pitting early. That said, his tires are going to be running out, and he is going to be hunted down by Ian Wheeler. That's not Jess Osborne. That is Selena Boonster coming out behind them.
Well, actually did for a second time for whatever reason.
Did she put on dries?
I don't think so, because the previous pit stop was quite a significant amount of time ago.
Oh. Or did... Okay. Or did she put dries and forget to repair damage?
The last pit stop stationary time is just the tire change. So I really don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I think she might have just stopped she might have put dries on accidentally. She's gonna be making 2 stops. Blanchette mode. Did Blanchette put on dries yesterday? That's tragic. It reminds me of the... I don't know if anyone has been watching F1 YouTubers in 2013 and 2014. Actually, no. Wait, it's 2015 F1. 2015, the clip with Xmandy G. We have Hall on the bumper of Cody. Is there going to be any ambitious sensor around the outside? Doesn't look like it. Pretty calm out here. That ACC board is blocking a lot of the action here. As Hall brakes on that curb, keeps the car in.
This fight is now pulling the 2 cars behind into the same train.
Yeah, the two cars in question is Nico Suave and Anthony Kelly, with Polly Hartman and Earl McDonald not far behind. So this is more than a 4-car trade. I think this is a 6-car trade that we have our hands right now. As Whirly Suave runs wide, runs deep. He uses his blinkers. I don't know what he was trying there. I think he has his blinkers on and probably forgot to turn it off.
There's also another train forming behind Miller. Schwartz, Damiani, and Sutherland are all right there.
And this battle is, yeah, Schwartz, Damiani, and Sutherland, as he'll puts out. Allhazen, can you talk about him for a second? He has the fastest lap, a 50.2. The track is definitely drying right now.
Yeah, I think it's been drying pretty much the whole race. We finally do see some increasing rain, but that's not gonna happen because the race is gonna end before it.
Look at the train, and this has been the team for most of the races. For the starts are a bit insane, the race calms down, and then after the pit stop, all of a sudden all the drivers are behind each other and out for blood.
I think we had similar moments in D1 yesterday as well. Like I could see like 8 cars at times in front, which was like, oh my god, there's a train. But then the train broke up because we started fighting so much.
And just me being slow. There you go, I said it. That's well, it's putting the pressure on Cody. If you thought the BMW has good acceleration out of this quarter, wait till you see the GTR.
I think that the BMW actually puts the power down better, but then once the GTR gets actually going and the power is the thing that matters, then things are very different. But the initial acceleration of the BMW is really good.
Oh, it goes a bit deep. Keeps it in though. No drama from him. As this battle starts boiling up, Sutherland's on the bumper of Josh Damiani. He's got a one that plays back. Josh Damiani separating the two drivers for silver lead as Sutherland gets super squirrely. He recovers it though. That's great save from him. And he goes on the curbs again, loses even more time. You don't want to do that, especially when you're fighting for the silver lead. The leader being Schwartz.
I mean, especially for the silver drivers, it's always, when you're like high up in the overall standings, there's always kind of this, how much do you want to risk to gain one more position? Because it's not that many more points you gain for it, versus how much you can lose if you screw it up. Because when you're in top 10 overall, you're gonna get, like, anyway gain massive points.
I don't know, I mean, if I'm high up racing in D1, I will be on high horse for most of the race, and that's what happened at Spa. Thankfully, the race did end up pretty well, so. But yeah, I wonder how many drivers here, like, I wonder if Neil Sutherland's on the high horse right now because he's up in top 10.
So there's now a 7-car train behind Osborne.
Oh wait, the train that's caught up with Jess.
Yes. So there's now 7 cars where the largest gap is less than a second.
Yeah, that's a sight to behold. Well, not the wing, you can't really see much. That's not really a sight to behold. You can't see anything. But, yeah, and I wonder if you're gonna see any ambitious moves now that everyone's bunched up, and now things are gonna get a bit more spicier.
Yeah, it's always tricky though, because it's still a very hard track to overtake on, unless you wait for someone to make a mistake. And if you're in close pack like this and you try to make a move and it doesn't work, there's every possibility that you're gonna lose a position to someone behind you. So
Yeah,
have to be kind of very careful and very patient with how you plan your moves and attacks.
Also, do you count 7 cars? There are 7 cars. It's Jess Osborne, Cody, Hall, Suave, Kelly, Hartman, and McDonald. So there's 7 cars. Actually, never mind. Well, that's a different battle. Well, that's because it's 5 seconds up the road on Jess. It is 7 cars. I can actually count. For once. I think my counting stops around 10 as you see Hartman getting a bit slidey. You know, you say it's mistakes, but this is also a wet race. Everyone's gonna be making mistakes.
Yes, but the question is like, who makes only small ones and who makes big ones?
Well, it's the smallest of mistakes on a wet track will escalate to be big ones. Just because of the nature of a wet track, as Cody runs a bit wide like that one. Well, that you know what, that's actually a small mistake. I digress.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, certain mistakes will not cost you that much time, and will probably not give the guy behind you an opportunity to do something. But like, if you really get on the wrong curb and you get the car super sideways on an exit, then probably half the train is gonna go by you.
Kelvin's like, I can only count up to my fingers. Yes, I can. You know what? I don't even know how much fingers I have on my hands right now, so yeah. Coming back to Josh Damiani, he's on the bumper of Schwartz. He has opened up the gap slightly to, Sutherland, but trying to get past Lexus is not the easiest thing. Especially on a track where you don't really have a long straight. Also, the Lexus, I think, has pretty good exits out of the final quarter, despite its really abysmal traction control. That's because its engine isn't as torquey as the Mustangs. Wait, the 30 figures? I only had 11. Whatever. As Hall gets super close up to Cody, still not close enough for a dive bomb.
I have to say it's quite a difference between this race and yesterday on in that there have been no stop and go 30s and so far no drive-throughs.
Yeah, you're right. People actually know where to brake for the pit speed limiter.
Oh, Magnol.
Oh, Hall gets slide. He hits Cody. They start drifting. Cody keeps the car running, and they're all facing the right way. Nico Suave is gonna capitalize on that. Gonna try going around the outside of both of them. What about Kelly? Is Kelly gonna try sending it? Suave runs wide. Is that gonna be a position yield? Doesn't look like he's yielding as Andy Kelly shoves it down the inside of Hall. But he's going to be on the AstroTurf. That's going to be a bad exit for him. He's going to slide behind Hall. What about this battle here? Suave is ahead of Cody. But is that an illegal overtake? Was Suave completely ahead of Cody? It did look like, but he did miss the braking zone.
I think that's gonna have to go to the stewards.
And Anthony Kelly runs wide. He's got Harold McDonald's around the outside, but outside has been considerably worse in this corner, though. And you're right, it is going to go to stewards. I think it is something reportable.
But that was a really good example of like a kind of not very big mistake, a small bump in a braking zone, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and also Hall gets past Cody as well. And this pack gets bunched up even more as Harold McDonald tries to look around the inside of Kelly. Keeps it in, but the white McLaren gets the better exit. You know, all hell is breaking. Zeus is running. Cody runs wide. And Kelly gets Kelly almost runs into him. And all that means Hartman is gonna be right up the bumper of McDonald. Is he gonna bump draft? No. Is he gonna die bomb? No. Who? But the McLarens run so wide and he gets slippery. As Hartman gets even more slippery and he runs into the wall. Today, this is a forgettable race for Paulie Hartman here. Or mistakes after mistakes. Let's see what happened here. Just drops the car on power. That curb is slippery.
That's very unfortunate.
And yeah, it looks like he just called it. That's gonna be GG's for him.
Well, that has kind of broken up that battle back. The other one is still going though.
You're right, everyone is equally half a second off each other.
Also, in the meantime, Arc has just dropped the fastest lap of the race at 1:49.955.
Logan also is in the 49s as well. Both of them are absolutely flying.
Yeah, but the gaps are so large that nobody's probably taking any significant risks because it's gonna be very hard to close up.
Yeah, no one. I hear no one saying Arc domination can board fans. So let's go with it. An amazing performance from Arc and Logan as well. Ooh, Hull is trying to challenge the place. Is he gonna send her on the inside? Doesn't look like it. That Bentley's blinkers are still on. Wonder if he's trying to assert dominance on these BMWs behind.
By using a blinker?
Yes.
I mean, I suppose. BMWs don't have any of those.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even know where my blinker button is in my BMW. Actually, no, I should be like, what is that thing? I've never seen that in my life. That joke's ruined, so it doesn't matter. I think Jacob was trying to get a close-up look on that blinking light on the back of the Bentley, trying to figure out what it is. Hope he doesn't get too close. Oh, Harold McDonald. The battle's still going on between these guys, and the train has kind of formed again because Swami is holding back Hall, and that is allowing Cody to catch up. But Jess has run away from Nico Suave, so it is technically a 6-car train as opposed to a 5-car train. What train has gotten bigger is the battle for P6. Because they have gotten up to Mueller.
So the fastest speed traps are now a Lexus, a Mustang, another Mustang, and a BMW. Now, let it be known that said BMW definitely did have draft for that, but that's still quite impressive.
Oh, McDonald nearly gets past Kelly there. Looks like the Mustang is still the fastest car in the speed trap. It's Ian Wheeler. He's done of 247. Granted, he wasn't stuck behind traffic. Oh, you have incident. Who is that?
Swartz and Miller are involved.
Oh, what happened here? Oh, looks like Schwartz has just run into the back of Miller there. Got the perfect timing. Hold your brakes! And he loops her back around. Grass is slippery. Thankfully, he doesn't get beached. Yep, looks like Mueller has been, he's doing so well. He's now up to P10. Also, I just realized, my actual fantasy driver isn't racing today. Right. I make fun of people for picking up Brooker.
Well, on the other hand, the person who has me in their fantasy team kept me even though I told them I'm not racing in the second round, so. I also told them I'm very slow and they were like, nah.
Ooh, these guys are going too wide. Not the best place where you want to go too wide. But they keep it clean and they are alive. Who's going to have the run up the inside? Who's going to be the last to break? Who's going to win in this game of chicken? Neither of them yielding. It looks like Kelly just runs wide and Harold McDonald finally gets past Anthony Kelly. And looks like Diggs is creeping up behind him.
Ledge has spun.
Wait, who spun?
Ledge.
Ooh. Yep, there it is. There he is. It looks like he just did he get on power too late? Probably.
I would guess he was on the curb too much and spun it on the exit curb, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably it. Are they? I know McDonald's is Race Forge. Kelly is too. Yep, they're teammates. And I guess they're probably in the same voice chat to with friendly fire. Like other conglomerates. And yeah, all this means that actually, you know what, this train is still going on. Cody's only 1.5 seconds behind Hall, but people are still getting backed up. One battle did spread apart is Josh Damiani was a Sutherland.
Someone made a big mistake and Hall got past him.
Oh, let's look at it right now. That camera sucks. Oh, he just starts drifting that Bentley.
Yeah, too much on the curb, too much power on the curb, too much steering on the curb.
Yep.
Also, the last few moments of things happening now puts Sutherland in an extremely strong position to bring a really good points haul for the Silver Championship.
That's true. Sutherland is now the silver leader.
And not just the silver leader, but he's also P7 overall. That's really good points for the championship.
Yep.
And he has a relatively big gap behind, so if he doesn't want to take any risks, it's very easy to make sure he just keeps the position.
That said though, his teammate is nowhere to be seen. It's the other Sutherland, Mark Sutherland. I think Neil is the son. I think Mark is the father. I don't remember.
I believe that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh, we have another battle that's popping up between Ferrer and Byron. Byron has caught up. More Bentley versus BMW fights. We've seen a lot of this Bentleys than we have seen in SRO in the past 5 years. But yeah, it looks like most of the battle the front has backed up, so battle for P17 goes hard. Every position counts though. It looks like Art and Logan have started to back off in coming back to these guys. We haven't even touched upon them ever since they set their fastest laps. They started to chill a bit. Art's fastest laps only a 50.58.
Well, I mean, the rain is
Intensity.
actually starting to increase again. And also the tires are getting pretty worn at this stage, even though they pitted roughly halfway through the race, I believe. Yeah, about halfway through. So I'm not surprised the pace is falling off a bit. Also, they all have such big gaps in front and behind that, like, there's just no reason to take any risk.
I agree, and that comes back to the driver with one of the oldest tires, John Archie, 18 places up where he started in P9. That's some good.
That's quite impressive.
It is. A reminiscent of what Mercer did yesterday. Getting back to this train at hand, Diggs still on the bumper of of Kelly. I wonder if the McLaren has damage though, because we did see McDonald's car have a bit of scuff marks. Can't see anything on the white McLaren because the scuff marks are white in this game. It looks like Dix is holding on. Yeah, looks like Kelly had a slightly longer pit stop, so he might not have any damage unless he picked them up in this stint. Unless he made a big pit fix. And look at McDonald, he's on the AstroTurf. That's a bad run from him. Thankfully, Kelly was not close enough to capitalize on that. What a race! What a last 55 minutes this race has been. Absolute cinema.
Yeah, it's only in the last few minutes that it has calmed down a little bit.
Yeah. As battles are broken up. Neil Sutherland still stuck 1 second behind Josh Damiani, and this is our closest battle all the way to the train in from P16 and below. I said Jacob Hall has opened the gap to the Kasave slightly, 3 seconds between them. It doesn't look like he's closing in on Jess Osborne. Actually, no, he is, but not by enough to challenge for positions, unless Jess makes a big mistake. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point the drivers are probably worn out and probably starting to calm down. Because I don't know about driving, but this race has been exhausting to keep to keep an eye on, because of how much stuff has been happening, and I think the same could be said about these drivers.
Yeah, we had lots of multiple relatively long trains going on, and some surprise action here and there.
Oh, so Ryan Cody gets gets very much onto the AstroTurf, and Harold McDonald tries to send her out the inside, and so does Kelly. But what does it mean for what does this mean for Diggs? Is he gonna dig into the inside of the McLaren? Doesn't look like it. They're gonna go single file. That's it. They're super close. McDonald's is...
Sutherland is actually also really close to Damiani, but I'm not sure he's actually gonna try anything.
Ooh, as Art finishes the race, but we have a battle on our hands right now. Harold McDonald's going side by side with Ryan Cody. Cody gets a better run, but McDonald's has the inside. He's gonna dive down the deep. He gets a hip check. Cody gets forced wide. He's gonna keep the place as Kelly runs wide and slams into Diggs, but nothing happens with Porsche, and Kelly comes to worst out of that. We are actually seeing Harold Mary sends in this race. Cody stays ahead of McDonald, but what is that? Is that a valid move? Is that an illegal repass? As McDonald gets super defensive, Diggs tries to send her on the outside, tries to do switch back, gets a better run, and then the McLaren, is it gonna be enough though? McDonald tucks the inside, he gets bumped slightly. We have no bandwidth to talk about the finishers of this race, but yeah, looks like
all kicking up in the last lap.
yeah, it's all picking up in the last lap. And that's gonna be the finishing order of Cody, McDonald's, Diggs, and Kelly, who got a short end of the stick in this battle here. Coming back to our winners here, it is no surprise Art, followed by Logan, who's doing donuts, and I say Doug is in P3. Unfortunately, no, it is Thomas Olhausen who's finished P3. Ooh, I need to take a breather. Wow, what a end to the race this has been. It has been crazy at the start, it has been crazy in the middle, and an absolute wild end to this race.
Yeah, that was actually kind of surprising. You don't see that much happening on the last lap of the race quite often.
I mean, this is what I keep talking about. If anyone gonna send a Hail Mary at the end of a race, here we are. Everyone is sending around the inside. So, yeah, that's a crazy race. Let me just take a replay in case one of the admins forget to. But yeah, now we're just I don't know. Every race in D2 has so far has been entertaining to its fullest. As right now, let's actually head on to the interviews. Let's pull in the bottom step of our podium in P3, Thomas Olhazen. Thomas Olhazen, you're in the commentary booth. Do you have us?
I do have you, yes.
Ooh, first of all, congrats on the P3. You started on the second row of the grid and you finished in P3. Talk us through your race. Must have been a fairly boring one.
Not actually. I mean, I thought it was wet races are my favorite races, so I was very, very happy to start at the front and avoid any kind of incidents on turn 1 of lap 1. And the rest of it was, can I keep up with the leaders?
Which I think
No.
you did to a fair amount.
I felt like I was doing okay for the first 5 laps, maybe, and then all of a sudden they just started pulling a gap on me. The best part was I was pulling a gap on 4th place, so felt pretty good. The biggest thing was coming out of the pits, I wasn't far behind Logan, I think it was, and so I felt like I did a good job pitting, had a good gap, and I don't know if he got held up or if it just worked out well.
Oh, yeah, that's good to hear. Hilpo, do you have any questions for Olhazen?
I mean, given how kind of effortless P3 that was, not really. I'll just say congratulations. That was a very good drive.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love the wet races, and yeah, I had the purple lap right out of the pit stop, and I held it for quite a while, but somebody had to go and take it.
Oh yeah, we did see that. I think we did catch that on the stream. Also, coming back to the team championship, you guys were leading the championship going into this race. We have 3 more races in our hands. Are we still expecting the double shoey again?
That's the goal. The plan is to just finish well, stay alive, and hopefully that gets us in the points for being top contenders. But yeah, it's gonna be hard 3 races with especially the one that's coming up is mixed. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
I think it's Red Bull Ring, right? That's not the mixed race, is it?
Is it mixed? Not next race. Okay, the next one after that. Then.
Yeah.
But definitely got a shout out to Arc. Did he slow down on the last lap or second to last lap? Because I was calculating him like he's really close to doing one more lap, and I need to figure out my fuel.
Oh, we completely missed out on our crossing the finish line. It was so much stuff happening.
Okay, yeah, if he did, I appreciate it, Arc. Thank you. it was a lift and coast for the last 2 laps if he did one more racing lap. So.
You were low on fuel. Yes, that's the point of this fit thread.
Yeah, but I mean the gaps were so big that I wasn't going to catch anybody, and I don't think Mitchell was going to catch me. So.
Yep, Doug has conceded. But yeah, I think that's all the questions we have on open. Unless Ilpo, you have one more question for our podium sitter here.
I think we have discussed everything important.
Great, yeah. Anyways, congrats on winning the P3. Hope we see you do another shoey, and hopefully you guys got something new planned out to make it different from last season's.
Oh no! Now you're throwing down the gauntlet. Okay, all right. We'll think about it, but yeah, we'll wait until after the races are done.
Great. Well, expecting it.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one. And that is our P3 finisher, Thomas Olhazen. Let's see if you can find our P2 finisher, Logan. Yes. Let me see if I can pull him. He seems to be muted. Maybe I'll wait for him to get on, but it doesn't look like Arc is in any of the channel. Arc, if you're watching the stream, please join any of the voice chats. We will pull you in for an interview. And yeah, I'm gonna try pulling in Logan now. Let's see if he is talking. Logan, you are in the commentary booth. Do you have us?
Indeed, I do.
Oh, damn, you're okay. When you're muted, I thought you were AFK. But yeah, first of all, congrats on the P2. Talk us through your race.
That was an intense hour. Holy cow.
Oh, for real. Yeah.
Can we rebop the BMW in the wet races, please? That was ridiculous.
No.
In all seriousness, though, Arc ran flawlessly the whole race. Like, he made like one mistake that I could see, and it was just I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
You have to give it to him.
Yeah, I think the boat could be. I think the same could be said for you, because both you and Arc have been absolutely flying. Both of you opened the gap up to Thomas Alhausen. Both of you drove an amazing race, borderline flawless. The only two cars that have set a 49 lap.
I will tell you, I don't know how, because the Lexus was more than a handful. I felt like I was sideways more than I was going straight.
That's just like racing for you.
I mean, look, I'm apparently very good at drifting. I'll take that.
Toyota.
It's not how I like to go around a track, but I apparently it works. But yeah, unfortunately, like when I pitted, I forgot to lower my tire pressures because I was busy. And so I was running really high tire pressures the last like 35 minutes compared to what the conditions required. And so I was just watching my tires balloon the whole time, the last 30 minutes, as Arc was just pulling away from me. And I was just like, well, this is fine. This is all fine now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
hot tire.
goodness.
We did make a point about the tires, about how they get overheat and dry. So, Opal, you have any questions about that?
Well, so I'm kind of curious. How did you plan the race strategy for pit stop and everything before the race?
So I will admit I may have watched the D1 race to see what the overall strategy and what seemed to be winning. And I had planned to kind of do an undercut, like a small one. If whoever I was battling with was relatively close to me. It just so happened I chose the lap I did because I saw Arc meet up with, I think it was Selena, like right as he passed the pits. And
Yeah,
so
it
I
was.
just jumped into the pits real quick, hoping that I wish ill on no one except maybe Doug. But I was hoping maybe Selena would slow him down just a little bit and I could catch up with the undercut. But she is a fantastic racer and apparently gave him space to go around, unfortunately for me. And so that strategy didn't play out how I wanted it to. But I essentially was watching for lap traffic and was going to try to time my pit that way. But like I said, because I cut in so quickly, I didn't have time to adjust my tire pressures for the lower rain level. And so it's well, I mean, the result was I felt like I was sideways for the last half of the race. So
And that is wet races in a nutshell. I think everyone was,
right.
including the BMWs.
You say that, I didn't see him step out ever in the like. I didn't see Arc like lose grip at all.
Maybe it's just drifting better than you. Ha, just kidding.
That's look. I'll give it to him. He won the race. The fantastic consistency, especially in the wet. You have to give it to him. I unfortunately only know 2 speeds, 0 and 100, and I was still pushing as hard as I could on the last lap, and I almost lost it in sector 2 in the last lap because I can't let the BMW finish that far in front of me. It's just not okay.
That's actually kind of funny because I was saying somewhere around that time that all the gaps at the front are so big that probably nobody's like pushing because like you're not gonna catch the other guy.
Oh no, I can't. Like I said, I have 2 speeds on and off. If I'm in the car, I'm sweating and I'm trying hard. That's why I wear the helmet. That's just how it goes. I can't. I just can't. I can't back off at all. Unless I hit somebody, and then I feel bad enough I'll pull over. But other than that,
All or
uh,
nothing.
Oh, that thing.
was there? I have to ask you guys something, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Um, how was lap 1? I was so hyper focused on not crashing Arc, I didn't get to look behind me.
Well, there was been a couple incidents, but
Lap 1 had an incident in the chicane that I think like 6 cars involved roughly, but otherwise it was relatively clean.
That's 6 is a lot.
Well, I mean, the original incident wasn't too big, but unfortunately some of the cars involved ended up being sideways right in the middle of the track, and that was less than ideal.
Well, hopefully it was something you entertaining, at least. Maybe.
yeah, it was definitely was.
I think the entire race was quite entertaining. We had a little bit of a lull for a little while, and then it picked up again.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. We did not see anyone finish the race because we are hyper focused on carnage that was happening on the final lap.
That's fantastic, and
It
it sounds
is.
like I'm gonna go rewatch the race
Yeah.
after.
You do have, you have your nightly video to watch planned. It is an entertaining
Exactly.
race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On that note,
Yep.
I'll let you guys get back to interviewing, other people. Arced, maybe if I don't know if they've done an interview already.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Art is in here. I have to try to get him in.
Tisk
Yeah.
tisk. They have earned that interview.
Yep.
Dang it!
Art has.
Indeed, he has. Like I said, just it felt like I was racing a metronome. It was just like perfect lines every time, and it just is what it is.
Yeah. But I mean that from us. Well, Art is in the chat. We see him. But yeah, that's gonna be for all the questions we have for you. But yeah,
Awesome.
congrats on the P2. Kept the momentum
Thank
from
you.
Spa. Yeah, maybe you'll challenge for the the drivers championship this season if you can keep up the work.
It's going to be a huge challenge, but I'm up for it.
All right, cool. Well, have a good one.
You as well. Thank you.
That's our runner-up for this race, Logan, who I did not ask his first name because he just has not added it. Speaking of drivers with a first name, or a name, we're gonna have our race winner for this round, Arc. Arc, you're in the commentary booth. Do you have us? Arc, are you muted or?
Hello.
Hey, there you are. First of all, congrats on the win. It was a pretty insane race from you. You and Logan, both of you are absolutely flying out there. Talk us through your race.
It was a good race. Just basically fighting the first lap, and that was it. I don't know why Logan lost the pace after 2-3 laps, but it was fine. I'm tired. I can say I'm tired. It was a hard work to match every lap almost the same time, but it was a good race.
I mean, The Hungaroring is not fun, and the BMW is also not fun. I actually have a question from a BMW driver. How did you set up the car? How you were so clean. I'm just so jealous.
I think you will be disappointed, but first of all, I like the rain. I enjoy driving in the rain. And after that, I just copy paste the Friedolf setup dry and just set up the pressures, and that's it.
Friedolf dry setups?
Friedolf's dry
Yeah,
setup.
I mean Friedolf setups are good, but
Yes, they are.
yeah.
I only change likely the brake bias, um, pressures, and sometimes brake ducts or stuff like that, and that's it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you have the secret for winning D2. Use the Friedolf setups. Well, do you have a question for Art?
I'm slightly curious because he pitted quite a bit before halfway through the race. What was the kind of idea behind that?
There wasn't an idea. I was just thinking about following what the cars behind were doing, and Logan pitted, and I was catching a lapped car, and I was catching it very fast. So I said, if I stay here, I might lose more time than going to pit. So yeah, I just reacted on time, I would say, and yeah, I didn't get in trouble with those cars.
Yeah, okay, that seems to be an interestingly common theme because uh, some other people have said the same thing, that they were just like reacting to traffic and what other people are doing. Interesting. You kind of got a little bit unlucky coming out from the pits and then catching two Boonstra, but luckily didn't lose too much time there.
Um, yeah, I didn't lose time. I mean, yes, I lost time. I lost like half a second probably, but I knew that if I was patient in the case that Selena was not going to pit, that I can pass her very fast. I was like, I don't know, probably um 1 second and a half or 2 seconds faster maybe. So it was about time.
But yeah. But aside from that, you drove. You and Logan are the only drivers in the 49s. How
Oh
did you,
really?
yeah, did you struggle with any tires that were heating because it was pretty dry out there?
Yeah, to be fair, I was trying to look up the purple lap for me, but after I did 49.9, I I tried some laps and I was like 2 tenths faster. I'm sorry, I was like 2 tenths faster into turn five, and after turn five, I just couldn't hold it, and it was the rears just getting overheated. So yeah, I tried. I did a lot of attempts to lock the purple lap, but I guess in the end it was still mine. Probably. Can you tell me
Yeah.
or not? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know which corner that is, but yeah. But
But yeah, my thing was that rear tires were overheating.
yeah, makes sense. Mine were too.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Oppo, do you have any questions for? Actually, wait. No, I actually do have a question.
Okay.
Championship. You're leading it. You extended the gap to Josh Damiani. Are we gonna see a shoey?
If I win it, I will do it. Of course.
There we go. Let's go.
There is still 3 races to go, so I can't get distracted. So just wait. There are three more races to go, and it will be hard for sure.
There you go. Keep the momentum going. Oppo, do you have any final questions for Art?
Well, so speaking of those three remaining races, how do you feel about the tracks? Are you good on those tracks, or are they maybe like
Actually, I don't know what is the next week. What is?
Red Bull
What is it?
Ring.
yeah, Red Bull Ring, then
Oh, really?
Barcelona, and finally Imola?
Hmm. I don't know about Red Bull Ring, but for Imola, I almost did an alien stint, so I guess I can be good.
Okay.
Only time I was like 2/10 off of an alien stint, so I think I can be good there. Barcelona is the track with variable conditions, right?
Yep.
Yep.
That will be fun. But as I said, I enjoy the rain, and I think I'm close to a Division One Gold time or even alien time there in with no Bob lap in the time trial server. But I think it will be fun, Barcelona. I look for it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, let's hope for changing conditions and we don't have the normal SRA dry or wet or completely undrivable conditions. It's gonna be one of those two. Not gonna have normal changing conditions in SRA. Yeah. Cool. Guess. Yeah. I guess
If
that's.
if it is full wet, I'm going to be more happy, if anything. But I'll take whatever happens.
Gotcha. And yeah, I think that's all the questions we have. Unless nobody have any final thoughts on this, but yeah, congrats on the win, and hopefully
Thank you.
see a shoey from you.
Happy to be here again. And okay, let's see if I can make it.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Thanks for the commentator.
Right.
Commentating.
Our pleasure. And I just realized I just moved him into an empty voice chat. Cool. But that's gonna be our P1 finisher and the winner of this race. Alright, and coming back to the tracks for next week, we have Red Bull Ring. We had this race in League in a Week earlier in the preseason. So our drivers are probably a bit more familiar on this track, not at a competitive level. And then we have
we also had this track in the Endurance Series last season.
That too. So this track isn't a stranger to SRA. What the track which is not we've seen super commonly is Barcelona. It's not a condition we've seen in Team Series before. That's gonna be the one that must be an absolute watch. If you have any plans, make yourself free on the 21st of May. And then we have Imola to round it all up. Our qualifying track being our final track. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of this. That's gonna wrap. You're in the downwind of this, I must say, amazing season. It's been fun watching these guys drive. But yeah, I think that's gonna be us. Hopefully, you have any final thoughts on the remainder of those tracks?
I'm actually kind of hoping that Barcelona is genuinely mixed conditions because I cannot remember ever driving or watching a race at Barcelona in the rain. So I think it would be absolutely hilarious if we get like a proper rain for part of the race there.
You're right. I don't think I've ever seen Barcelona in the rain in ACC.
Yes, so I don't think anybody knows where the puddles are and how slippery the track is going to be, and I think that would be extremely funny if it proper rains there. I hope it does. I really hope it does.
Another thing that's really funny is because of the practice server, we might have some practice servers which is only going to be dry. So no one knows. No one's probably driven in wet Barcelona until the race starts, which is gonna be it's gonna be absolute chaos. And we know how chaotic SRA races get. I think we're in for a treat in that race. But yeah, cool. That's gonna be it from this race. We'll be back next week with Red Bull Ring, everyone's favorite go-kart track. And yeah, cool. See ya. See you next week. Bye.